Text 3. Yasya vayava sansthanaihi kalpito loka vistaraha taidvai bhagavato rupam vishuddham sattvam urjitam.
It is believed that all the universal planetary systems are situated on the extensive body of the Purusha, but he has nothing to do with the created material ingredients. His body is eternally in spiritual existence par excellence.
Text 4. Pashyantyado rupam adabra chakshusha sahasra padoru bhujanana adbhutam sahasra murda sravanakshi nasikam sahasra maulyam baram kundalolastata.
The devotees with their perfect eyes see the transcendental form of the Purusha, who has thousands of legs, thighs, arms and faces, all extraordinary. In that body there are thousands of heads, ears, eyes and noses. They are decorated with thousands of helmets and glowing earrings and are adorned with garlands.
Text 5. Etannana vataranam nidanam bijam avyayam Yashyam shashena srujjante devatiryan naradayah.
This form, the second manifestation of the Purusha, is the source and indestructible seed of multifarious incarnations within the universe. From the particles and portions of this form, different living entities like demigods, men, and others are created.
Text 6. Sa eva prathamam devaha kaumaram sargam ashrita chachara duscharam brahma brahmacharyam akhanditam.
First of all, in the beginning of creation, there were the 4 unmarried sons of Brahma, the Kumaras, who, being situated in a vow of celibacy, underwent severe austerities for realization of the absolute truth.
Text 7. Dvitiyam tu bhavayasya rasatala gatam mahim uddirasyan upadatta yagneshaha saukaram vayuhu.
The supreme enjoyer of all sacrifices accepted the incarnation of a boar, the second incarnation, and for the welfare of the earth, he lifted the earth from the nether regions of the universe.
Text 8. Trutiyam rasi sargam vai devarshitvam upetya saha tantram sattvatam achasta naishkarmayam karmana yataha.
In the millennium of the rishis, the personality of Godhead accepted the third empowered incarnation in the form of Devasi Narada, who is a great sage among the demigods. He collected expositions of the Vedas, which deal with devotional service and which inspire non-fruitive action.
Text 9. Turye dharma kalasarge nara narayana vrushi bhutvatvam pashimopetam akarot duscharam tapaha.
In the 4th incarnation, Lord became Nara and Narayana, the twin sons of the wife of King Dharma. Thus, he undertook severe and exemplary penances to control the senses.
Text 10. Panchamaha kapilo nama shaha kala vishnutam provacha suraye sankyam tattvagrama viniryanam.
The 5th incarnation, named Lord Kapila, is foremost among perfected beings. He gave an exposition of the created elements and metaphysics to Asuri Brahmana, for in course of time, this knowledge had been lost.
Text 11. Shastam atrera apatyatvam vrutaha prapto na suryaya anvikshim alarkaya prahlad adibhya uchivan.
The 6th incarnation of the Purusha was the son of the sage Atri. He was born from the womb of Anastu, who prayed for an incarnation. He spoke on the subject of transcendence. to Alaka, Prahlad, and others, Yadu, Aya, etc.
Text 12. Tataha saptam akutyam rucher yagyo abhyajayata sayam de surganaira apata swayambhu vantaram.
The seventh incarnation was Yajna, the son of Prajapati Ruchi and his wife Akuti. He controlled the period during the change of the Swavambayi Babu Manu and was assisted by demigods such as his son Yama.
Text 13. Astame meru devyam tu naber jata urukramaha darshayana vartam dhiranam sarvashram namaskrutam.
The eighth incarnation was King Pushpa, son of King Nabi and his wife Naradevi. In this incarnation, the Lord showed the path of perfection, which is followed by those who have fully controlled their senses and who are honored by all orders of life.
Text 14. Rushi birya chito beje navamam parthivam vapuha dugde mam aushadira vipraste nayam sa ushtatam.
O Brahmanas, in the ninth incarnation, the Lord prayed for sages, accepted the body of a king, Prithu, who cultivated the land to yield various produce, and for that reason the earth was beautiful and attractive.
Text 15. Rupam sa jagruhe matyam chakshusho dadi samplave navyaropya mahimayam apadvaiva swatam manum.
When there was a complete inundation after the period of Chakshusa Manu and the whole world was deep within water, the Lord accepted the form of a fish and protected Vavashvata Manu, keeping him up on a boat.
Text 16. Sura Suranam Udadima Manthatam Mandirachalam Dadre Kamatha Rupena Prushta Ekadashe Vibhuhu.
The 11th incarnation of the Lord took the form of a tortoise, whose shell served as a pivot for the Mandacharachala hill, which was being used as a churning rod by the theists and atheists of the universe.
Text 17. Danvantaram dvadasham trayodasham evacha apaya yata surana anyan mohinya mohayana striya.
In the 12th incarnation, the Lord appeared as Dhanvantari, and in the 13th, he allured the atheist by the charming beauty of a woman and gave nectar to the demigods to drink.
Text 18. Chaturdasham narasiham bibhadra daitendram urjitam dadar kajaira urava erakrama krudyatha.
In the 14th incarnation, the Lord appeared as Narishima and bifurcated the strong body of the atheist Hiranyakashipu with his nails, just as a carpenter pierces cane.
Text 19. Panchadasham vamanakram krutva gada advaram baleha padatrayam yachumanaha pratyaditsu stri pistapam.
In the 15th incarnation, the Lord assumed the form of a dwarf Vamana, and visited the arena of sacrifice arranged by Maharaji Bali. Although at heart he was willing to regain the kingdom of the three planetary systems, he simply asked for a donation of 3 steps of land.
Text 20. Avatare so dashame pashyan brahma druho nrupan tri sapta krutvaha kupito nihikshatam akaron mahim.
In the 16th incarnation of the Godhead, the Lord, as Brahmacharya, annihilated the administrative class, Kshatriyas, 21 times, being angry with them because of their rebellion against the Brahmanas, the intelligent class.
Text 21. Tataha saptadashe jataha satyavatyam parashadrat chakre veda taroho shakha društva pumsolpa megasa.
Thereafter, in the 17th incarnation of Godhead, Sri Vasudeva appeared in the womb of Satyavati through Purusha Muni, and he divided the one Veda into several branches and sub-branches, seeing that the people in general were less intelligent.
Text 22. Nara devatvam apannaha surakarya chikirshaya samudra nigrahadini chakre viryanyatta param.
In the 18th incarnation, the Lord appeared as King Rama in order to perform some pleasing work for the demigods. He exhibited superhuman powers by controlling the Indian Ocean and then killing the atheist king Ravana, who was on the other side of the sea.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Yogesh Prabhu. And thank you so much, Andrew Prabhu. So nice, so devotional. Thank you so much. I'll just take half a minute. I'll be back. Sorry for this. Sorry, and thank you once again, Yogesh Prabhu and Andrew Prabhu, for beautiful recitation and reading all the translation. So we'll go to the verse for today. Okay, so we will be discussing the verse number 3 from the chapter 3, Canto 1. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavade Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki. So I will recite the verse once again and then we will discuss. Dvitiyam tu bhavayasya rasatalagatam mahim uddharishanupadatta yagnesha saukaram vapuhu. Word by word translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Word by word meaning. Dvitiyam, the second. Tu, but. Bhavaya, for the welfare. Asya, of this earth. Rasatala, of the lowest region. Gatham, having gone. Mahim, the earth. Uddharishan, lifting. Upadatta, established. Yagnesha, the proprietor or the supreme enjoyer. Saukaram, hoggish. Vapuhu, incarnation. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada. The supreme enjoyer of all sacrifices accepted the incarnation of a boar, the second incarnation, and for the welfare of the earth, he lifted the earth from the nether regions of the universe. Purport. The indication is that for each and every incarnation of the personality of Godhead, the particular function executed is also mentioned. There cannot be any incarnation without a particular function, and such functions are always extraordinary. They are impossible for any living being to perform. The incarnation of the bowl was to take the earth out of Pluto's region of filthy matter. Picking up something from a filthy place is done by a bowl, and the all-powerful personality of Godhead displayed this wonder to the asuras who had hidden the earth in such a filthy place. There is nothing impossible for the personality of Godhead, and although he played the part of a bowl, but the devotees he worshipped, staying always in transcendence. Hare Krishna. To recite the mantra and prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप सदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगण रघुनाथानुतं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदां सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरं यत्कृपा तमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरु दीनतारिणम्। Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, devotees, for being here this Sunday evening and inspiring us in discussion of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we are on this third chapter, which is about the various incarnations of the Lord. Krishna is the chapter entitled is the Krishna is the source of all incarnation, and it is the reason for the name has been explained by the speakers before, because this chapter describes what is called as the Paribhasha Sutra of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the definition or the main verse. So whenever we are confused or we want to clarify the various incarnations and their positions, we come back to this Paribhasha Sutra of Krishna's to Bhagavan Swayam. That will be coming later on in the chapter. So we are on the now the second incarnation as being described by the Shuka Goswami. on request of the sages in the Naimisharanya. And the verse I will read once again. Ditiyam tu bhavayasya rasatala gatam mahim uddharishan upadatta yagnesha saukram vapuhu. Translation: Supreme Enjoyer of all sacrifices accepted the incarnation of a boar, the second incarnation, and for the welfare of the earth, he lifted the earth from the nether regions of the universe. Srila Prabhupada very beautifully explaining that the point, which is a beautiful point, that the very first one that we will probably try to focus more, is that every incarnation has a particular function to be executed. And there cannot be, in the second sentence Prabhupada says, there cannot be any incarnation without a particular function. And such functions are always extraordinary. The function that we have here, the situation that has been put in front of the Lord here is that the Mother Earth has been pushed down into the lower regions.
Huh?
It explains is in the so of the 14
Correct.
so there are 7 above and below, like Bhur, Bhuva, Swa, Mahar, then the Janas, Tapas, Satya, and which goes all the way up. And then below is Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Rasatala, Talatala, Mahatala, and Patala is the lowest. So as explained by Srila Prabhupada and the verse, the earth was pushed down to the Rasatala. Yeah? And it says here, Rasatala Gatam. So the earth was pushed down, Rasatala. So it is explained by the Acharyas. There were 2 incarnations of 2 boar incarnations. One was the as they say, Shweta, other is the Rakta, the white and the red. There was one time when Lord Brahma was going to begin his creation, and from his mind, because he was also encouraging the progeny, and after the 4 Kumaras refused to procreate, and then in the time of Swayambhu Manu, as we were discussing, there were 14 Manus in a single day of Brahma. In the time of Swayambhu Manu, so the Swayambhu Manu himself and the Shatarupa, his wife, appeared from the Lord Brahma's head. And then it was requested by the Manu that, yes, we are happy to do this service, but the problem that we have is the Earth planet has been pushed down to the lower regions. And at that stage, Lord Brahma, when wondering as to how we will get her back in her space, because this is something extraordinary as explained in the purport. And these extraordinary activities can only be performed by the Supreme Lord. No one else can do this kind of thing. Because the demons have also pushed us in. There is also the second incarnation. So demons, that is the Hiranaksha, who also pushes the earth down the Warahatra, it is explained. We'll discuss that in detail. By the time when Lord Brahma was contemplating as to how we can move the earth back to its position, and then the only option that he's thought to himself is, and said to the sages that the only option is that we pray to the Supreme Lord. As he was thinking about this, and the Lord appeared in the form of a boar, a small boar, as is said in the Bhagavatam, of the size of the thumb, from his nostril. The nostril, from the nostril, Lord appears as boar, and this is it's quite interesting that the nostril is considered as a place of filth there. The Lord appearing from there, and then the Lord But Lord is always, as you know, Lord is always transcendental to all these. It's just amazing. It's inconceivable how Lord appears at different times. That's how it's said that Janma karma cheme divyam evam yovati tatvatah tatta deham punarjanma naiti amiti. So Arjuna. Janma karma cheme divyam. The Lord's janma and karma, appearance and activities are transcendental. And anyone who can understand this, they will certainly go back to the Lord's abode. Of this, there is no doubt. So, so this is the amazing, the pastime inconceivable for the normal, human, and devotees see that as the words coming from these scriptures and from the acharyas, and we understand, we accept. But it is sometimes difficult for the scientists to see the perception or the dimension that is presented by Srimad Bhagavatam. The scientists struggle to understand because they mostly use their protection. They use their sense objects or extended sense objects to some influence to understand the position of the earth as a function of the material creation. Again, distracted by the different noises coming in the background. So, yes, so Janma Karma Chame Divyam Evam Yogati. So we discussed the two types of Varaha. So first was the Shweta Varaha that we just mentioned that appeared from the nostrils. And it is also mentioned that the second bow incarnation was the Rakta means the red incarnation. And that was the incarnation, bow incarnation, who killed the demon Hiranyaksha. This is how it's explained. And there is obviously, when we talk about the different incarnations, there is this beautiful Dashavatara that was written by Jayadev Goswami, and he has glorified each of the different incarnations, the 10 incarnations. There are 22 incarnations being explained in this chapter here, and Jayadev Goswami has presented 10 incarnations. So this is the third verse in the Dashavatara Sutta. Vasati dasana shikare dharani tavalagana. Let's take once again. Vasati dasana shikare dharani tavalagna. Shashini kalanka kaleva nimagna. Keshavadhrita shukara rupa jai jagadisha hare. Just we chant like Nashingati. Kesavadhrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare. So here we chant Kesavadhrita Shukara Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare. So the meaning goes like, O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of a boar, all glories to you. The earth which had become immersed in the Garbhodaka ocean at the bottom of the universe sits fixed upon the tip of your tusk like a spot upon the moon. So this is a beautiful description of how the earth looked when she was lifted on the tusk of the Lord, just like a spot. The moon, it appeared like that. So this is something that's beautiful. The Dasavata Shotram we can chant various times. There are other references that I will speak, so we will discuss about little about. We discuss the Tattva, which is Janma Karma Chema Divyam. So, and how the Lord's position is always transcendental in all situations. And Lord takes different incarnation for different purposes, for different functions. Without function, there is no incarnation. Lord comes for a particular purpose. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. Adharma. So the whole of the fourth chapter and a few verses I explain that. So we will focus on the bow incarnation today. And there is also the mention of Varaha incarnation. There's a place in Koladvip. There's Navadvip, there are 9 islands, and there's a place called Koladvip, which is called as the Warahatra. So there is a mention of this in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. There is this place where a Brahman was performing worship to Lord Varaha, and he was singing, all the time he was he was praying to Lord Varaha to appear and to take the darshan. And after a lot of prayers and worships, finally the Lord appeared, and in the form of Varaha, in the form of boar, and he had his golden, all the ornaments on him, and he was looking dazzling, and the Brahman looking at him was really amazed, and he was offering praise. But the Lord assured him that it's amazing that you are performing this worship at this place, Navadip, where I will appear in the golden incarnation, in the golden form, in the Kali Yuga. So that's the incarnation of our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that was already predicted, and the Brahmana did again, going through the Srimad Bhagavatam, he could find that so many references, Lord appearing in the Kali Yuga as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There's also a pastime in Chaitanya Bhagavat where Mahaprabhu, he would show his mercy to his devotees, very close associates. So one of his close associates was Murari Gupta. Murari Gupta was a devotee of Lord Ram, and he's also like, when he said in Hanuman incarnation appearing in the Leela of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So one time Lord was, hearing the various glorifications in different incarnations. The Lord just, he would come in his ecstatic mood, and he goes straight to the house of Murari Gupta, and he starts to say, Shukara, Shukara, calling Varaha, Varaha, and now Murari Gupta is a bit, he's shocked. What's happening? Why is Lord coming? And he's just saying Varaha, Varaha, and Shukara, Shukara, like he's calling his own name, and he's in ecstatic mood, and he goes straight into the temple room of Murari Gupta, and he then assumes the form of the boar with his dazzling complexion and all the ornaments on his body, and he lifts the there was a water pot there in the temple room, and lifts that on his tusk, and he asks Murari Gupta to please, you say my prayers, pray, and speak my glorification. Murari Gupta is confused, he's terrified, like what's happening here? But he's a bit fearful. The Lord is roaring and asking Murari Gupta to sing his prayers. And Murari Gupta finally, he gathers the courage and starts to speak, glorify the Lord. And Lord appear, and then Lord, after hearing the glorification from Murari Gupta, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very pleased, and he assures that this is the time I have appeared, and I will always appear whenever there is a dharma, and I will not deter from doing whatever is required to protect my devotees. Actually, it's mentioned in Chaitanya Bhagavata. It says, even I will go to the extent of killing my own son if it is required. And then it's explained that how when the Lord Varaha lifted the Mother Earth, Bhumi, from the lower planetary systems, and by the touch of Lord Varaha, Bhumi Devi delivered one son. His name is Brahmacharya. And it's mentioned in the Krishna book, and in the Srimad Bhagavatam also we'll get. Okay, so I was talking about so distracted with this noise. Yes, so Mahaprabhu assuring that and mentioning the pastime of Banasura, and the Brahmasura, who got, although he was given all the education by the Lord himself and the Bhumi Devi, but he got distracted by the wrong association, and the Lord, assuring Murari Gupta that I will protect my devotees. So that's the different incarnations and the different references of Lord Varahadeva's appearance. And there is also a Varaha Puran, which has more than 20,000, 24,000 verses. Like Srimad Bhagavatam has 18,000 verses, Varaha Puran has more than 24,000 verses, and that Quran is also a Quran in the mode of goodness, Sattva Quran, and then also the whole Quran there is in the form of Lord Varaha um, speaking to Bhumi Devi, or answering various questions from Bhumi Devi. So that's the Varaha Puran, and it was originally spoken by Lord Varaha to Bhumi Devi, and later on Sutta Goswami also speaks this Quran as well to the sages Mamesharanya. And then we come to the point of Hiranaksha. Hiranaksha, the second incarnation. There's a lot more is explained in the third canto, a lot of detail in there. When Lord Brahma explains to the demigods about the appearance and the pastime of Jai and Vijay. Obviously, we all know that Jai and Vijay were the two gatekeepers at the Vaikuntha. They were at the seventh gate. So the Kumaras could pass through the six gates. On the seventh gate, they were stopped by the two brothers Jai and Vijay, the gatekeepers. And because of that, they got cursed, which has its own pastime. And but then those two Jai and Vijay appear 3 times in the form of demons. And this is the first incarnation or first birth that they take in the material realm as Hiranaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu is the older brother, Hiranaksha is the younger brother. These two brothers, being favored by Lord Brahma, had gathered a lot of power, and by the nature they were demons. So Hiranaksha is the one who pushed the Bhumi in the Rasatal. And how did he do that? He explained that Hiranaksha means, Aksha means eyes, and Hiranya is gold. So Hiranaksha always had his eyes on the gold. So he would do whatever to extract the gold from the earth. And to the extent that he did so much that the earth, the balance was lost, and the earth got pushed into the lower areas of the Garbhodaka Ocean. So that was the extent of his loot and extent of his his exploitation. And Hiranaksha also represents the greed, the greed aspect of the six anarthas. Hiranaksha is the how do you say, personification of greed. Like there are different personifications, that's like Ravana is a personification of lust, like that. So Hiranaksha, because of his greed, he was exploiting Mother Earth so much, and he was in a way shameless. And this is also an example, if we see from the time today that's happening, and to the extent the Mother Earth is being tortured by demon-like personalities, and they're extracting the oil to such an extent. It is Prabhupada has said that in many different lectures as well, and maybe some reference in books, that how the modern day Hiranakshas or the Asuras are causing so much trouble by this only one aspect of just taking away from the mother rather than giving back anything, and just taking out more and more oil. And there's a different level of competition happening, and different wars are being triggered only for the purpose of extraction of oil. And there is this similar mentality of greed amongst these people, and not thinking of what will happen in the future, what will be the situation for the future generations, and how much can they actually extract. So how much can they do? At some stage they will cause similar situation when the Lord will appear and sort the situation. And exploitation in all aspects. The oil is now obviously we're getting some relief. We don't know, but it will have its own problem with electric vehicles, some relief from electric vehicles, but we don't know electric batteries. They will have its own situation. There's always the solution that are found is trying to solve one problem but creates 5 other problems. And and also like the mass deforestation, that's again greed. And for what purpose? I was reading yesterday how much land is being, how much Amazon forest is being destroyed every day to make that forest as a grazing land for the cattle, for the cows. So, and then that is causing so much, the greenhouse effects, and it is so, it is actually, the situation is hellish at the moment. It's so bad, and then there is the soil situation is so bad because of the same problem, the greed. Because the greed, the people, the farmers start to put the different types of fertilizers and chemicals onto the soil, and they want to take more and more out of the soil, and the soil has become so infertile. It is said, and someone was saying it is only like 30 or 40 maybe maximum harvest left, because they've done so much damage to the soil, and for the reason that it's because of greed, destroy the Amazon forest, destroy the soil, destroy everything, produce a lot. Prabhupada so much would encourage devotees to pick up the natural way of living, the varnashram dharma, and then using the bulls and the oxen for the farming, and all that, and then we can restore the soil fertility just by the manure, just by the cow dung, and we do that in our own farm here in Bhaktivedanta manner, and we get so much at the farm, and we get extraordinary, big shape vegetables, and more nutritious than anything else that we get outside. And all that we use is just cow dung. And we do some bit of, plowing using bulls and oxen. We just try to follow what Srila Prabhupada has, given us the guidance. And it is, we can see that how much Mother Earth wants to give, we cannot take. But because of the greed, people are just destroying this. So this Hiranyaksha was the personification of greed, and Lord had to appear himself to kill this demon. So I'll quickly say the pastime was very interesting. How the fight between the Hiranyaksha and Varaha, Lord Varaha, was so interesting. So Hiranyaksha, he was also like a warmonger. You can probably relate this to the today's time, how it is happening in different countries, with that warmongering attitude. Hiranyaksha was like always looking to fight. He wants to fight with someone, with everyone. He wants to prove that he's the greatest, he's the strongest. He goes around different, fighting. He wants to fight with all the demigods, and he goes to the Indraloka, and he wants to fight with Indra. But he's become so strong that Indra also gets afraid of him, and he leaves his Indraloka, and then this demon wants to fight with someone, so he goes down into the ocean, and because he's heard like Varuna is the god of the ocean on the waters, and he's also strong, so he just goes to the Varuna and challenges him, okay, come on, give me a fight. Sometimes you see this I don't know, as a young children we used to see these fights, and there will be these boxers, and they will just come on, fight with me, fight with me. Hiranyaksha was like that. He went to Varuna and he says, come on, I need a fight, my lord. He says in a very derogatory way, he says, oh my lord, all I desire from you is just fight. Please give me fight. I want to fight with you. But Varuna, they realizing this demon's situation, he says, oh, I'm now, we are old and we are not into this war and fighting businesses. Maybe what you can do, the most appropriate person for you to fight with this is this Lord Vishnu, and you should go and fight with him. He will give you a good fight. And Hiranyaksha says, okay, wow, okay, I need a good fight. So he goes around, he needs to find where is Lord Vishnu at the moment. I want to fight with him. And obviously, and then he meets our own Narada Munis, and then says, okay, where is, I want to have a fight with Lord Vishnu. Where is Lord Vishnu at the moment? And Narada is just laughing in the usual way. He says, oh yes, he's at the moment picking up the Bhumi from the lower planets, and he should go and fight with him. And Hiranyaksha gets excited. Okay, yes, I want to fight with him. Then he goes and finds that Lord is at the same time was, had lifted the Bhumi Devi on his tusk, and he was bringing her back to put her in the correct position. And the Hiranyaksha meets halfway through, and he starts to challenge the Lord to fight and speaks different, insulting words. And it is said in the Bhagavatam that at one stage, the Lord felt very sad. And Prabhupada was speaking in one lecture, that by the insulting words, the harsh words of Hiranyaksha, the Lord felt very discouraged at one stage. And Lord, He always wants to do good to everyone. He's all merciful. But these demons, they just always want to create trouble. When Hiranyaksha was saying those discouraging words, Lord was discouraged. But he had this, objective of first putting Mother Earth at the right position. So the Lord goes along and then puts the Bhumi or the Earth at the right position, and then empowers her to stay afloat in the over the Garbhodaka ocean. And then Lord goes back, and then there is a very interesting fight that takes place between the Lord and the Hiranyaksha. First there's lots of exchange of words, and it's so much fun reading through that chapter. We don't have enough time today, but if you can read, it's in the third canto. It's 17, 18, 19, 3 chapters, and explain the different exchange of words, and also then the fight begins, and they're fighting with the mace, and this demon is hurling mace on the Lord, and Lord is blocking and again hitting back, and they're hitting each other. They said that they're both at one, they both hurt at different places, and at one stage what happens is, as Lord hits Hiranyaksha with his mace, Hiranyaksha hits back, and the Lord drops the mace from his hand, and is just on the floor. And then everyone is so worried that what is happening. But at the same time, they know what Lord is doing. One of the reasons of Jai Vijay is said that taking incarnation as demons is because Lord wanted to have the rasa of fighting. Like Lord wants to have a fight, have a good fight, and who else can give him a good fight apart from his own devotees? That's also one of the reasons why Jay and Vijay appear as strong, demons. And the Lord drops the mace, and then the demon says, okay, he gives time, okay, you can pick up the mace, and he does not hate the Lord when he didn't have the mace. And anyway, it goes on, and after some time, then Lord Brahma says, Lord, that I think the game is, you have done enough play with this demon now. Now please kill him. The good Murata, Abhijit Murata is passing, and the night is coming in, and now please, it's time that you kill him. And in spite of that, the Lord again have some more fun with him, hitting, and then he's having a trident, and the Lord cuts his trident with his Sudarshan Chakra, and then they have no hand, and then they start with the hand, and this Hiranyaksha, because he's also Mayavi, he can create illusions. He create different illusions, and strong winds start to come in, and he's appearing in the sky, and appearing and disappearing like that, and starting to throw weapons in his invisible way. And Lord obviously he's all powerful, and then he releases his Sudarshan Chakra, which clears all the illusion. And now this demon wants to embrace Lord. And then he wants to how do you say, they kill him like that. The Lord again, is said that in the chapter, Lord also becomes invisible and slips out of his his grip, And then finally, after a lot of this going back and forth, Lord finally it says that he just puts a slap at the root of the ear of the demon, and he dies. He just goes flat on the flat dead, and then obviously the all the demigods, they shower in the Lord, and they're just happy. The Lord again, kills the demon, and then he establishes the earth on its correct position. This is amazing pastime. It's a very short time for this big pastime. But in our life, this is the two lessons. That is obviously the greed is something that how Hiranyaksha with his greed, how much damage he did, and what's happening even today is quite similar. And the Srila Prabhupada's emphasis on on following the natural way of farming, and how to protect Mother Earth. Because our own commitment should be like that we don't create Hiranyaksha like mentality. We don't have any negative impact on the environment and the Mother Earth. That's our take on. And we just depend on Lord Warahatra. It's time 42, so we will have a bhajan. I think who is singing the bhajan today?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, it's Jai Shri Mataji.
Yes, okay. So after the bhajan, we can discuss any questions. Yes, Jai Shri Mataji, please.
Prabhuji, I've got the lyrics ready, but I need to share the screen, and for that I need to be paused, please. I can't share the screen. Okay, yeah, it's working. Yes, okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Jyoti Mataji, and thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, everyone. Please accept my humble obeisances. This is a beautiful bhajan, and I'll read the English translation. Nitai is within and without. He is everywhere within this world. He is the lover and he is the sweetheart. Everyone says it. Nitai is my regulative principles, my object of worship, and the light of my eyes. Nitai is in all 10 directions. In fact, he fills all the 3 worlds. Nitai is Anga Manjari, eternally serves sweet Srimati Radhika. He is non-different from Baladeva, whose beautiful face resembles millions of moons and is surrounded by Sakhas and Sakhis. The sister of Radharani, Anga Manjari, is very dear to Sri Shyama, and she is the life and soul of all the Sakhis. She decorates the arena of the temple named Mani Mandira. Nitai sustains the Yoga Pitha and becomes a throne for the Lord to rest on. Nitai is also the dress and ornaments. He enjoys pastimes with the Sakhis. What more can I say? Nitai is the eyes, mouth, and limbs of everyone. Nitai, 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 Nitai. I see only Nitai dancing. Raising my hands and chanting Nitai, I will go to Vraja. I, Vrindavana Dasa, only request Nitai to kindly never leave me. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Antaran Nitai, Bairan Nitai, Nitai Jagatamaya, Nagaran Nitai, Nagarin Nitai, Nitai Katha Yekaya. Antaran Nitai, Bairan Nitai, Nitai Jagatamaya, Nagaran Nitai, Nagarin Nitai, Katha Yekaya. Sadhana Nitai, Bhajana Nitai, Nitai Nayanatara, Dashitika Mai Nitai Sundara, Nitai Bhavana Bara, Antara Nitai, Bahira Nitai, Nitai Jagatamaya, Nagara Nitai, Nagari Nitai, Kathaye Kaya.
Radhara Madhuri Ananga Manjuri Nitai Nuti Seseve Kochi Shashatara Vatana Sundara Saka Saki Palateve Radhara Bhagini Shama Sahagini Savasaki Kana Prana Janana Labari Mandapa Sajani Shrimana Mandira Nama Antaran Nitai Bahiran Nitai Nitai Jagatamaya Nagara Nitai Nagari Nitai Kataye Kaya Nitai Sundara Yogi Pitatara Ratna Simhesana Seje Pashanan Nitai Pushanan Nitai Vilase Sakira Maje Kikai Bara Nitai Sabara Angi Mukasava Anga Nitai 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 Nutararanga Antara Nitai Bahira Nitai Nitai Jagatamaya Nagara Nitai Nagari Nitai Kataye Ikaya Nitai Palia Tuba Tulia Chalipa Vrachara Pure Tashan Vrindavana He Nivatana Nitai Nachadamore Antara Nitai Bahira Nitai Nitai Jagatamaya Nagara Nitai Nagari Nitai Kataye Ikaya Antara Nitai Bahira Nitai Nitai Jagatamaya Nagara Nitai Nagari Nitai Kataye Ikaya Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gauri Pramananda, Hare Hare Bol.
Hari Hari. Oh, thank you so much, Yashri Mataji. Hari Hari.
Hare Krishna, beautifully sung. Thank you, Mataji.
Amazing. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. Nitai is both in and outside. Hari Bol. So we have 10 minutes. I don't know how many minutes, or maybe is there any questions or any discussion on Lord Warahadev's pastime or anything else?
Very nice class, Prabhuji. I really enjoyed it.
It's too much. I was only thinking like half an hour. There's so much to say.
Yes, and despite what is written in the scriptures, man will always be greedy for more and more and more. I mean, look at what's happening in Ukraine. Look at all the different parts of the world where so much land is being cultivated for whatever, for, commercial needs. But this will go on. I don't think there'll ever come a time when man will stop and think and say, we cannot carry on like this.
Yes, Mataji. It seems like this is just carrying up. People are not realizing. The greed is like that. The 3 doors to the throat. It's the 3 royal ways to the hell. Is this one of them is greed? Kama, Krodha, Lobha. There's so much greed there. There's so much overproduction. I'll tell you a short story with my own, experience. So I used to take children to the farm, and so that they get the experience of working on the soil, how this is all produced. So we did one full cycle with them. So they came and they did the potting, and then soil comes, and then they put the seeds and they plant it there, and they're watering and de-weeding and finally harvesting the beans. And after those 3-4 months of that work, when they actually started to take the beans out, the French beans we grew at the time, and then the boys were thinking, and they were telling me, oh wow, it takes so much effort to get beans. Like we thought we just go to the supermarket and we get it. So one way of thinking, most people argue like this now. This is easily available in the market. The commercial farming, all the fertilizer, all the chemicals, doing good because we get so much produced, and it's so much cheaper, and it's easier. But we don't know, as you're saying, the impact of that living, that overproduction. Because of this overproduction, the prices are brought down. Then the farmers, even if they want to follow the right ways, they can't do it because they can't compete. The greed is just killing everything, and the impact is that the produce that we get because of the chemicals and all that. Yes, there's a lot in the market, but the nutrition wise is so like So horrible, actually. There's so much chemical, it's bad for health. And whereas if people, resorted to the natural farming, using of just the cow dung, what does cow, how much they're killing the cows and the bulls when, the same cows, just by the cow dung, by the manure itself, we're getting so much. There's so much gold. Just the soil can convert into very healthy soil and fertile just by using the cow dung. That's what we use in the farm at the manor. We have so many cows, and the cow dung we collect, and then it's left to compost for the following year, and then we use that in the farm. And our soil, we get so many visitors coming, and they look at the soil and say this is the best soil they've seen anywhere in the country. And it's just, it's so easy, but people don't want to do it. It's the greed. It's a difficult situation, but I think we all should do our best, whatever we can do to not impact. And this is a responsible devotee. We should be mindful of that we don't create any negative impact. That's the message. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, I think we can then just finish it here. Thank you so much, everyone. Srimad Bhagavad Mahapurana ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Kripa
Kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna.
thank you.
Hare Krishna.